Hey everyone, I'm going to start a new series on this channel. I think I'll call it Short Fiction Fridays. I got this idea from Jake from Pulp Mortem, who picks out science fiction anthologies from his collection and then rolls a die to select a random story. I'm going to do a similar thing here, except I'm going to have multiple anthologies and I'll pick multiple stories per week. I'll call this episode 0, and episode 0 is going to be a bit awkward because I'll select the books randomly and then next week I'll actually review them. So let's have a look at some of these anthologies and see what I could potentially get. I've got Dark Love, which is a horror anthology edited by Nancy A. Collins, Edward E. Kramer, and Martin H. Greenberg. Okay, so I could get these. And there's a couple more over here. I would like to get Kathy Koja or maybe Ramsey Campbell. I've got The Giant Book of Werewolves, edited by Stephen Jones. So here's some of the names. I hope to get Graham Masterton. I've got a ton of his books and I haven't read any yet. So we'll see. Could be. This week could be the week I read Graham Masterton. The Mammoth Book of Body Horror, edited by Paul Kane and Marie O'Regan. I would like either John W. Campbell, Who Goes There, or George Langeland, The Fly. Now I'm stacking this with horror. I generally regard myself as a horror guy, but I do have some other stuff here as well that I would like to go through. So this one's a little bit more varied. Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbinders and Suspense. Out of these ones, I would like either Sax Roma, Black Magic, or The Birds. We'll see. I could get it. I've got some science fiction. The War Book, edited by James Salas. Algis Budrys, Fritz Leiber, Norman Spidrad, Mac Reynolds, Frederick Brown. Yeah, quite a few names there I want to check out. And last one, I've got Classic Westerns, collected and introduced by Peter Haining. Now, this is kind of an underhanded thing by the publishers because they've got different famous stories here by each of these authors, but then the actual story isn't necessarily the story listed here. I'll just show you an example. Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. That's a full novel, right? It's not a short story. So let's see. Yeah, see the story itself, you can see here, it says The Legend of Billy by Larry McMurtry. list one thing and then have another thing. Yeah, so here's another example. The Max Brand story, Destry Rides Again. Pretty sure that's a novel. And then it says story, Dust Storm by Max Brand. They're listing some of their most famous stories and then actually including different stories. Anyway, I still want to read some Westerns, so whatever. Just kind of a warning about this one, really. Yeah, so I think it does that for quite a few of the listings here. Maybe all of the listings, I don't know. I haven't looked at them yet. I'll list the actual story. Otherwise, it's very confusing. Who would I like to read? Elmore Leonard or Larry McMurtry out of that? Haven't read either of them yet. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to keep rolling my dice. I'm going to keep making short story selections until we get to at least 50 pages. So this will be book number 1. This will be book number 6. All right, gonna roll the dice. So that's book number 6 and story number 3. Let's see what the first selection is. The TED Klein is just an introduction. We're reading Kathy Koya, and that's a 17-page story. All right, off to a good start. I got one of the ones that I wanted to get. Second roll. 6 and 12. All right, so Dark Love again. Number 12. Okay, number 12 is Bob Burden. I've not heard of this author before. And this story is 21 pages. We're now up to 38 pages total. Okay, third roll. We've got 2 and 7. A little bit easier for me to grab this time. This one's actually numbered. We're reading Your Soldier Unto Death by Michael Walker. I have not heard of this author before. And that is 12 pages long, which gets us to exactly 50 pages total. All right, how about that? So I'll put the names of the 3 stories up on the screen here. I'm going to do this show once a week on Friday nights. Every week. Let's try to make it for the rest of my life. We'll see how we go with that. Go read those stories if you have access to them. And I'll see you all in a week. Thanks for watching. See you later.